Is Blizzard interested in Starcraft 2 again? Is Zerg actually overpowered? And why does your tongue tingle when you eat a pineapple? All of these questions will be answered in today's episode of Starcraft Today.
Starcraft Today.
Your favorite Starcraft news show. An unexpected maintenance update fixed what is widely known as the league border bug. Last Thursday, for the past 2 years, a lot of people would be shown league borders that did not correspond with the MMR that they were at. This did not actually impact the opponents you played, but it was an annoying visual bug that confused and upset a lot of people. After 2 years, Blizzard finally fixed this, and people who were previously placed in the bronze, despite having platinum MMR, will now finally get the correct league border showing for them. People that have the Masters border but don't actually have Masters MMR will not yet lose that Masters border until the next season, as there are no such thing as mid-season demotions. Perhaps the greatest thing in this maintenance update though is that Blizzard did not accidentally remove the Archon mode from the ladder or added Beckett back into the map pool. I was happy with that joke. Moving on to the GSL, which had its grand final last Thursday. As Creator made his first ever GSL finals appearance, Rogue was hunting for his 4th GSL win, which if achieved, put him even with Maru in GSL wins. On Golden Wall, we immediately saw some of Rogue's insane preparation come into play, opening up with a proxy hatch on the gold base. Creator decided to respond with a 2-gate robo response. Bit of an odd response considering his opponent was playing this off a single gas proxy hatch, which means that it is impossible for it to be a dedicated Roach Ravager attack. Creator's first truly big mess up, however, is when he lets 3 links enter his main base, and as a result has to pull his workers of mining and send an adept to the main base to deal with it. While this is happening, Creator is trying to take out the proxy hatch. Sadly, he fails because he doesn't have enough DPS and loses both of his zealots, which were committed to this cause. Despite all these early game mistakes, Creator still is in a fine spot. Rogue isn't mining from the gold and is down in workers. Rogue, however, has a follow-up plan with the Nidus. The Nidus does get spotted, but Creator responds too late, and on top of that fails his zealot block in the wall, allowing 16 Zerglings to run in. Creator ends up losing his main base as a result and starts mining from his natural exclusively. However, when the Roach Ravagers show up on the high ground a little bit later, Creator is not capable of holding anymore and loses game number 1. Game number 2 on Berlingrad has to be the greatest piece of preparation out of a player that I've seen in recent times, and thus deserves the title of the game of the week. At the start of the game, Rogue sends out a sneaky drone across the map, but does not use it immediately. Instead, we see Rogue purposely getting his hatchery blocked on his natural and building it at the 3rd base instead. He allows Creator to scout this, and once Creator's probe gets the confirmation that there is indeed a base there and starts heading into Rogue's main, Rogue cancels the fake base at the 3rd and proxies a hatchery instead. The moment Creator realizes what is going on, it is already too late. Creep is starting to spread from the hatchery, the spines are being thrown down, and it feels like any response from this point on will not be able to hold this ingenious cheese out of Rogue. Creator attempts to hold by building a bunch of batteries, full walling, and getting a robo, but does not manage to succeed in holding the wall. Once his immortal dies and the links stream in, there is nothing left but the GG for the Protoss player. 2-0 in favor of Rogue. In game number 3, Rogue once again opts for an unorthodox opener, starting with gas pool into a late hatch at the gold on Blackburn. Rogue's previous cheesy shenanigans are still fresh in Creator's head, and as a result, Creator plays it safe. He gets a battery as well as a blind immortal, both of which serve no real early game purpose, as Rogue isn't cheesing at all. After this weird opener, Creator, in some type of panic move, probably decides to follow this up with a +1 and Chargelot Immortal timing attack off of 2 bases. But sadly for Creator, Rogue once again is a little bit too strong and a little too well prepared and completely crushes this push, getting the 3-0 on the board. Not a single real game has been played, and Rogue is only 1 map away from tying Maru for the most GSL wins ever. In game number 4, Creator finally gets the opener that he wants. Without any hatcheries on goals or links inside his main base before the 3-minute mark, he manages to get up 3 bases and actually deal some damage with his initial Oracle Harass as well. Creator follows this up with a Blink Stalker attack, which seems to fail a little bit in his goal, but luckily his backup plan did involve a forward base, and as he starts to saturate that, he also begins transitioning into disruptors from 2 robotics facilities. While Rogue is getting ready for a Lurker Ravager Roach Nidus attack, Creator is already starting to prepare the switch into carriers, but before those carriers pop out, Rogue hits him already with that Nidus Worm in the main base. Creator quickly moves into position with his disruptors and his gate army to clean it up, and despite some heavy losses, does manage to weather the storm while staying pretty close in supply to Rogue. After this, both players then decide to attack one another at exactly the same time, and something which resembles a base trade ensues. Despite Rogue probably having a better army in a direct engagement, Creator's disruptors gain a lot of value over time, trading for practically free, and eventually, as Creator defends his final few bases and Rogue pushes in, there's nothing that the Zerg can do, and Creator takes game number 4, getting himself his first map. In Game 5, Rogue once again opens up with some early pool shenanigans, but as he misinterprets some of the early game scouting information, he accidentally sends his 6 Zerglings to the wrong base. Oh, the disadvantages of a 4-player map. Creator decides he wants to try and leverage his major early game advantage and follows it up with a powerful 6-gate glaive attack, which sadly gets scouted by Rogue, because for the second time in this series, a couple of links just managed to run past the security guard at the Protoss door. What follows is a minute-long fight between Roaches and Adepts, in which in the tail end of this fight the Adepts actually managed to deal some minor drone damage. And as the Adepts had also been trading well against the Roaches during the fight, the situation seems to be slightly Creator favored. Rather than transitioning, however, Creator decides to have another go at it with the exact same unit composition, and what ensues next is another minute and a half of fighting between the 2 armies with, once again, in the very tail end of the attack, a lot of drones dying. This time, however, Creator feels confident enough to transition into a mid-game as he is up about 20 workers. Rogue transitions into Swarm Mode as a last-ditch effort, but once Creator gets up to 5 Colossi and moves out across the map, there once again is nothing the Zerg player can do, and Creator gets his second win of the day. Game 6 starts with an early game so boring that mentioning it would be considered a crime in 15 states and 7 different territories. The only noteworthy thing that happens is Creator accidentally losing one of his early Void Rays, but even that isn't that big of a deal, as his entire plan seems to be to just build an infinite amount of Void Rays. And what is infinite minus 1? Well, that's not possible, but still a lot of Void Rays. The first thing that is truly noteworthy that happens in this game is when Rogue decides to drop 8 queens in Creator's natural without any support whatsoever. Every single queen dies, and only 2 Void Rays end up falling. A huge blunder, or a great distraction. Well, it seems to be a great distraction, as Creator gets caught completely unprepared by the 17 mutas that were being built during this odd 8 queen drop. He loses 15 workers, and also loses his fort base to a couple of Lynx and Roaches, while trying to desperately transition into Phoenixes. Creator decides to launch a big counterattack, and as the queen count isn't what it used to be, because Rogue lost 8, it actually ends up going pretty well for Creator. He kills a lot of the anti-air and keeps 14 Phoenixes alive, with only 4 or 5 Corruptors and 1-2 queens being there. This gives Creator the ability to harass. However, while Creator is busy harassing, he once again forgets to keep a unit in his wall, and as the Lynx and Roaches stream in, the Phoenixes are forced to turn back home, giving Rogue some needed breathing room, and with his massive eco lead, he eventually manages to set up an army that can not only stop the Phoenixes, but also kill Creator's entire ground and air force. Rogue wins game number 6, wins the entire GSL, and as a result is now tied with Maru in GSL wins, both players of course wanting to get that 5th win pretty desperately. Huge congrats to Rogue for that, and I personally hope to see Creator back in another GSL finals, as he's been a fantastic player to witness, and it's been really fun seeing, his little emotional outburst, the happiness when he wins. So I really do hope that he performs just as well in the next season. That leads us to the EPT Cup starting on the Sunday in Korea, where we saw a rematch between Cure and Beyond. Last week they played in America, this time it was on Korea. And not only was it a different server, it also ends up being a different winner. With some very aggressive play, map control focus play out of Beyond, he managed to take out Cure 3-1 and take the Korean Cup win on the Sunday. Over in Europe, we saw an extremely dominant Clem, not dropping a single map until the finals, and then in the finals, also not dropping a single map as he manages the 3-0 special in a Clem-esque style. Clem also managed to take out Harstem, a big surprise for people around the world, as we really do like that Dutch Protoss player. Over in America, we had MaxPax versus Cure in the final, and despite MaxPax's impressive run getting into the final, well, in the final itself, it didn't end up going so well, as Cure takes a clean 3-0 victory with some nice disruptor snipes, some solid micro and fantastic unit movement. Cure, for the second week in a row, is going to win the EPT America Cup. That leaves us with the clip of the week, and this week we have once again a fantastic disruptor shot out of Mindel VK against Hate Me in one of the DreamHack Valencia closed qualifiers. Beautiful shot, you love to see it if you're a TOS.
Mindel VK, that is, really wants to get Hate Me to commit in. But now this disruptor does get shown. Oh, can he get the shot? Oh, ho, ho, ho! Oh my god! 12 kills!
And with that fantastic disruptor shot, sadly we need to end today's episode of Starcraft Today, but not before I explain to you why some people, and I do, get that weird burning tingling sensation in your mouth when you eat a fresh pineapple. It has to do with an enzyme known as bromelain. It can cause the burning sensation in the mouth. This is one of the substances in pineapple, and its function is to break down protein. If pineapple burns the tongue, the enzyme is therefore just only doing its job in our mouth. The slight burning sensation, however, only occurs with unprocessed fruit. Tinned pineapple is definitely tongue friendly. And if you want to get rid of that, then you can boil the pineapple. Honestly, if you boil pineapple, there's probably something else wrong with you, so you might want to get that checked out as well. That's going to be it for today's episode of StarCraft Today. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope you have a StarCrafty week. I'm never going to do that again. Thank you, and bye-bye.